A good wife is a submissive wife. That's just a fact, right? She follows her husband's lead. That's, you know, she doesn't, for example, question him all the time or complain about things all the time. When she's submissive to her husband, this is important, right? It's not because he's a dictator and a tyrant and he's forcing her to be like that and he's controlling. She's submissive because she loves him and respects him, because she values him and she sees his worth. So she wants to submit. Do you understand? She finds comfort in submitting to him because she knows he's a leader in the first place, right? As for someone that's not like that, she doesn't respect, doesn't find value in, then it's not gonna, naturally she's not gonna submit to him, isn't it?
So it works both ways.
Yeah, so it's basically about, you know, her loving him and respecting him, then because it's her fitrah to submit to her husband. Allah created Adam created his wife from his rib, right?
Yeah.
Brother, you need to get married and stop fooling around and stop making excuses. If you got enough money to buy an iPhone and pay that bill every month, you got enough money to be wearing them $150 sneakers, you got enough money, you understand me, you got hair on your chest and hair on your face, you need to get you a wife, man. And all these young brothers who's 18, 19, 20 years old keep making excuses that they ain't got that, I don't know how to get a wife, I ain't got no money. I don't know, man, y'all must have some special gloves.
You know, when you say to your wife, I love you, this is ibadah. Remember when you are married, or when you get married, or since you got married, to be intentional. You know, everything good that you do for your wife, do it with intention. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. You know, when you say to your wife, I love you, this is ibadah. Consider it as an ibadah. When you go out and do shopping for the family, have the intention that you are doing ibadah. Be intentional. When you are being nice to your wife, whether that's physically, or whether that's mentally, all of that, have the intention that this is an act of worship. Don't say to yourself, oh, she's controlling me. Why am I cooking? She should be cooking. Why am I doing this part? Why am I doing this? Have the intention.
I have 9 kids. My 3 oldest kids, they've memorized the Quran before the age of 10. I take no credit for it. Their mother put that work in. She's the one who stays at home. She just placed every split second, every minute of her life around there. I leave, I come back, she's there sitting and making them memorize the Quran. If somebody gave me £1 million in exchange for this, wallahi ma akhadtu, I'll never take it. So look at who you choose. The importance that the person you marry for your children is so big. The wife that you have at home, when it comes to raising your children and making them huffaz and making them memorize the Quran and raising your children according to the deen, Allah, you need a solid, strong wife.
In Surah An-Nur, Allah says, وَأَنْكِحُ الْأَيَامَ مِنْكُمْ. He gives the responsibility of facilitating marriage to the elders and the seniors of the community, to those who are in charge, and the aimma, mashayikh, dads, mums, and the aunties and the uncles. Make it happen. Facilitate. And then Allah says, إِن يَكُونُوا فُقَرَاءَ يُغْنِهِمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. Even if they are poor, Allah will make them rich. Allah is saying, through marriage your doors of rizq will open. If you marry for the sake of Allah, in order to preserve your chastity, to obey Allah, to avoid haram, to fulfill the sunnah, then Allah will open doors of rizq for you, and you can't even imagine where those doors will be opened from, subhanAllah.
I'll tell you something that they said Sha'bi rahimahullah, he was married to a woman. He said, I was married to my wife for 40 years. 40 sana shahid. He said, ما اختلفنا في شيء. 40 years of a marriage. We never disputed one another in a marriage. So they said to him, how is that? How did it happen? Kif? How did you marry her? And for 40 years there was no dispute. Sha'bi said, the first night when I married her, I sat with her, I said to her, listen, what is it that you love and what is it that you don't love? And she said to me, what is it that you love and what is it you don't love? I explained to her, I said to her, this is what I don't like, and this is what I don't like, and this is what I'm not, this is what angers me, and these are the things I liked, and these are the things I appreciate. She said, good. He asked her, what about you? She said, this is what I don't like, this is what annoys me. I stayed away from all of that. And she stayed away from all of that, I told her. One day, had a conflict between us, and he said the mistake was on my side. Because something she told me before, I didn't follow. I didn't follow through. And this is something important.
Brother, you need to get married and stop fooling around and stop making excuses. If you got enough money to buy an iPhone and pay that bill every month, you got enough money to be wearing them $150 sneakers, you got enough money, you understand me, you got hair on your chest and hair on your face, you need to get you a wife, man. And all these young brothers who's 18, 19, 20 years old keep making excuses that they ain't got, I don't know how to get a wife, I ain't got no money. I don't know, man, y'all must have some special gloves.
What is my advice for someone who's getting married? To fear Allah Azza wa Jal. To know obligations and responsibilities that he has to deliver to his wife. Because if you ask anyone who's getting married, what are your rights? He gives you a long list. She has to give me massage before I go to bed. She has to massage my feet. She has to bring me some hot water and salt to put my feet in. She has to know how to cook my favorite food. She has to iron my clothes. She has to keep the house clean. She has to know where to put my shoes when I leave and when I come. She has to, whoa, get a slave, akhi. No. Learn your obligations and responsibilities as a man. How to protect your wife, how to respect her, how to be her rock, how to provide for her, how to ignore and neglect her shortcomings and flaws because she's a human being bound to do these things. Once you learn, then you start to develop and practice. And this requires a lot of work from your side.
When you get married, it's like buying watermelon. On the outside looks green. You might hit it, you think it sounds right, but you don't know until you open. That's when you will see. You don't know until you are actually get married. So it's not about, do I have to be sure before? It's, do I have the right signs that this is a good match? And a good match does not mean a perfect match. Nobody is perfect for anybody. I'm not perfect. How can I expect them to be perfect, right?
So we want to learn about those signs at least.
That's a very good question. What are signs that somebody will be a good match? That their future plans and your future plans align together. That their past experience and your past experience is the same. So you might be surprised when I said, my wife her ancestry is Turkish. My ancestry is Egyptian. What is the same between you? No, it's very same. She was born in Australia. I was born in Canada. She never lived in Turkey. I never lived in Egypt. She learned in the English language. I learned in the English language. She comes from a family who practiced Islam, who value Islam. I come from a family who practiced Islam. She kept her origin, her culture, her language, her food, her friends. I kept my culture, my language, my food, my friends. What makes us similar is not Turkish or Egyptian, is that my past experience, my future experience are similar, even if we are not ethnically similar. Because what makes us together is Tawheed. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadun Rasulullah.
I've been married for 40 years. If anyone asks me about my wife's shortcomings or flaws, I say she hasn't any. She doesn't have any. She's perfect. Of course she's not. If I were to think about it, maybe I would have come up with 100. And if she were to be asked, she would say the same. He doesn't have any. He's the perfect husband. But I know my shortcomings and flaws. This is content. Mm-hmm. We are the happiest couple because we love one another with the grace of Allah, and our relationship is based on respect. It's based on compassion and trying not to be selfish, to do whatever you can. Yes, maybe I don't buy her red roses. I don't take her to a dinner at restaurants and then do things as such. But she knows that no one loves his wife more than I do.
These are the top 4 needs of a woman from a husband. Number 1, she wants security. She wants security in terms of financial security. She also wants an emotional security. She has to feel sense of security that when her husband leaves the house, he's not going to do something bad outside. He's not going to have a relationship with the opposite gender outside the marriage. Number 2, non-sexual, physical affection and tenderness. It's not about just being sexual with her and intimate with her. It's just giving her a nice hug, just giving her a kiss on the cheek. The next one, communication, communication, communication. Imagine sometimes a husband and wife, they live together. The number of times that they speak to each other during the day is so limited. How's that going to work? The next point is very important. Leadership. A man has to lead the house. Many times sisters come to me complaining about their husbands, and one of the things that they mention is what? My husband doesn't want to lead the house. He wants me to lead the house. He takes the back seat.
How many a marriage has broken down because the wife, she began to see things online and she began to see these people posting their so-called, fantasy amazing lives, and then she began to become ungrateful for her marriage and the things that she has. And she didn't realize that she has a good, happy, stable, solid marriage, and these people, they're just paid actors in reality. And so the sisters, you have to be very, very careful and cautious not to allow what you see there to negatively influence you.